It's not enough to just be an architect, a creative professional. The real question is, what are you doing? How are you making an impact if you don't know how to answer that question, or you feel too overwhelmed, stressed out, or burned out to even think about it? I'll help you get beyond the status quo trap in our profession to get inspired again. If you're ready, let's get architecting. Hey, Bright Lights. I am coming to you from the middle of my 2-week vacation in Australia. So big shout out. I know that we have a lot of listeners to this podcast who are from Australia. I get New South Wales, I get the Northern Territories, and even Western Australia that come up as listeners. So it's great to be here. It's my first time down under. We started off in Sydney and saw all the great things around the city, the amazing museums, got a chance to see the opera house as well as see a contemporary dance show with Indigenous dancers in it, acting out. It was amazing. Went to the Blue Mountains, then to Uluru, and I got to spend my birthday hiking Kings Canyon and enjoying the sunset with Uluru in the field of my vision. It was a very sacred thing for me. I always say my favorite thing on this earth is really connecting with the earth. I love going to sites that have amazing geology and incredible landscapes. And what I always notice about those sites is they're also sacred sites. And it just confirms something that I've always known from when I was a very young child and always say it's a foundation of my work in salutogenesis, is that space feels like something. And people do notice it, and that is why these amazing pieces of earth are also sacred spaces. Today we're having a little bit of a down day. We are up in Cairns and we're supposed to have a tour of the barrier reef, but unfortunately rain canceled our boat trip, so we're kind of floundering around here trying to find out what we can do. But tomorrow we get a train ride through the rainforest before we head to the Melbourne area and see the 12 Apostles Rock Formation, as well as a little bit of that city before I head back to the U.S. So this has been a really great trip, and one of the things I wanted to talk about today is something I learned about the Aboriginal culture, and it is this idea of the dreaming. And dreaming and dream time is very closely woven with not only the creation stories, but the framework for understanding the world and spiritual beliefs, even though the different tribes and nations do speak different languages, do have different cultures, much like the Indigenous people in the United States do, there is that commonality around the idea of dreaming. And I love the way that it is phrased, that it is about maybe being in a state where you are more open to what's possible, more open to what could be versus only looking at the facts and the logic of what is. And connected to that is also the idea of the song line. And the song line is basically a journey. It is very connected to place. So the song line is where the dreaming becomes physical, becomes real. And the way that this works is that there are routes that are the song lines that end in nodes, which are sacred places and spaces so that you get not only a geographical connection, but a mythological and a cultural connection. And there's a lot of great Aboriginal art here that will show the song lines, and you see it as these webs. So there's circles with dots around them and then lines that connect them, and the song line is showing not only the journey from a locus point to these different destinations, but how the destinations connect to one another. And it's such a beautiful metaphor for how everything in life really is connected. This idea that nothing is ever wasted, that we are all connected to one another, and the important role that place and space is. And this predates architecture. This is the earth itself and our awareness as human beings of the power of place, even without having to build or construct or design, just simply the innate awareness we have of the power of place and space. And I'm really excited. I just before heading to vacation was able to ink a book deal with Lived Places Publishing, which is an amazing academic publishing house that is all about telling the story. And I think it is not at all a coincidence that that particular publishing house was the one that was interested in my Saluted Genesis work, and that they specifically invest in the story, in the culture, in the sociology, in the psychology of how people experience the world. So I'm really excited to begin writing that book, and it hopefully will be published around this time next year. So that'll be another chance to celebrate and continue on this journey. But I was so inspired by this idea of the song line that I really think it's a great way to structure the book as well. And if you've had a chance to check out my YouTube channel, you know that I'm doing this series called the Space Doctor series that has cards that represent the research that I do, and the cards are organized into two sections. One is foundational concepts, which would sort of be that central locus point of the song line, and then the other part of the deck are the 5 aspects of Saluted Genesis and the research and theories that help to bolster the 5 main theories. So I'm kind of imagining this as one of those pieces of art that I got a chance to see, where there's this web of interconnectivity, and there really is this sacred journey that is all about the way that space makes us feel. So I am going to head back to my kids, who are getting a little antsy in the hotel room right now, and find something fun for us to do today, since we aren't able to take our boat cruise. But I did want to check in with everyone while I was away, and really help to give you some of the insights that I get as they come to me, and ways that I stay inspired, ways that I have really realized that life is too short not to invest in ourselves, in the experience. And vacations are a form of rest. I know you've heard me talk about how important rest is, and vacations are a way that we connect, that we expand our minds, that we forge new connections, new possibilities, and open our minds to see the world in a different way. And the greatest thing we have is our health and our well-being. So we need to take such exquisite care of ourselves so that we can continue to move forward and really make the difference we're called to make in the world. It doesn't happen grinding away. It doesn't happen by future tripping and saying, I'll do that when, or later, or tomorrow, because tomorrow's not promised to us. So take that time to savor your life now, to think about what have you always wanted, what have you always dreamed about. That's how I've been choosing my vacations, is whatever I come across that excites me and lights me up. I'm like, I want to go there. Why shouldn't I go there? I'm not just going to read about it and think, oh, that looks interesting. I'm going to go experience it for myself. And that is my greatest wish for all of you, is that you will also start saying yes to life a whole lot more. All right, everyone, take care, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. If you want even more content, head on over to architectingpodcast.com and subscribe to my newsletter and get some great free downloads while you're there. Be sure to follow me on social media. On Instagram at Architecting Podcast, Facebook and LinkedIn pages are Architecting, and the YouTube channel Architecting Podcast. Stay inspired.